All right, so not long after you play, you're going to get to your first inn. It only takes about 20 leagues. You're only going to have one little battle before you get there. Once you get here, you're going to have one mastery point that you can spend on any of your skills to upgrade your skill. Skills in Darkest Dungeon 2 only upgrade once, so you don't have to worry about getting your skill all the way to level 4, 5, or 6 or whatnot. One mastery per skill, and it's going to change that skill. Sometimes just stats, sometimes it's functionality. The important thing, if you're wanting to try to win, if you're trying to min-max a bit, get as far as you can, you want the best possible chance to get to the end, is to spend your first mastery point on stress relief. There's a couple of reasons for that. One, obviously, stress is just bad. You don't want to get to 10 and have your characters have a meltdown. But once you get to 4 stress, the character becomes irritable. And when they are irritable, they start doing barks that will decrease their friendship with others and maybe even cause enemies. This game is currently kind of snowbally in that sort of way. So once they start making negative relationships, it's really hard to recover that. On the other side, though, if they make friends early on, that can carry you through the game. It is very, very strong. So my advice is to find a skill that is going to control stress early on for 2 reasons. Now, you start out with the Plague Doctor as one of your first 4 characters, so this is the obvious choice. The Plague Doctor has Ounce of Prevention. So Ounce of Prevention, you don't have to do any unlocks or anything. You just have Ounce of Prevention when you start the game. So everyone can choose this one. As you can see, its upgrade for the mastery point gives a -1 stress. That -1 stress hits the entire team. It has a cooldown of 3 turns, so it's not battle limited. You can use it multiple times in a battle. So if a battle lasts a long time, or if you can stretch it out and stall at the end, you might heal even more stress. The 2 reasons I mentioned just a moment ago, or alluded to, one, you want to keep stress low so that they don't get to meltdowns as mentioned. But the second one is you want to build friendships early. So having the stress reduction will make everyone in good moods. They'll be able to make friendships with one another faster, but also just using this move on the team will make them more friendly towards the Plague Doctor. So it's not uncommon for the Plague Doctor to be friends with the entire party by the time you get through the first long road segment. So you're going to unlock more characters, more moves, and things like that. So you're not going to be held just to the Plague Doctor. But in the beginning, everyone's going to start with her, so you might as well get it. So I highly recommend spending your first mastery point on Ounce of Prevention. I'd also say, again, in order to build those friendships early, you probably want to buy things like Laudanum from the Provisioner with your first starting relics, and use that to keep stress low, make people happy, and build those friendships early on. So when you are trying to decide what to upgrade on your team for the next leg, there's a couple of things to keep in mind. So as you learn the zones and you go to select routes, you can kind of see what's coming. You can base some things around that. So if you have moves that are better against certain types of enemies, for instance, in the Tangle, there is a pretty common enemy, the Drummer, that puts up these guard and taunt and defensive buffs on its allies, so you might want to upgrade a move that can get rid of that, whereas if you're going to the Sprawl, that's not quite as common. In the Sprawl, there is a lot of burn, there's definitely some dodge and some crit buffs in there, so you might want to get a move to get rid of that. So as you learn these zones, that can dictate more of how you choose some moves. I'll go over the individual zones probably in a later video, but not knowing the zones, there's a couple other things to look for in here. So we already talked about at the very first that your first point is probably best spent if you have someone on your team that you can reduce stress on, like Ounce Prevention on the Plague Doctor is the big one. But, you know, Man at Arms, Bolster, there are other things you can upgrade in place of that. Those are the 2 big ones at the moment. But this is after that, this the second in. So a couple things other than zone I would look for is combos within your team. So what I mean by combos is literal combo points, and then just things that work well together, even if they're not actual combos. So for combo points, you can hold G, by the way, to bring up this menu at any time. You can hold G if you forget what one of these mean. But the combo is this little burning skull, and moves can either apply combos, and some moves consume combos in order to do an extra function. So I really like to find in my first kind of upgrades, one person that can apply combos routinely, and one that's really going to benefit from it. So a good example here is Blinding Gas. It does give combo when upgraded, but only a 33% chance of each of them. And if we go to the Occultist, you can see his backline. We can upgrade that for a 25% chance to combo. Demon's Pull already puts a combo point. So those are the kind of things I'm going to look for, and then what can kind of feed off of those. Jester is a really good one. Jester has 2 incredible moves to add combo points. So if you have him unlocked or using him, definitely look at that. Now, once we have the combo point generator, we're going to look at things to make our other characters better through their combos. Leper is a really big one. So Chop, when upgraded, not only is it going to make it so he blinds himself less often, it's going to deal more damage over the course of a run because of that, but he actually ignores his own blind when the enemy has a combo token. So try to get a move that adds a token. Like I said, the Jester, his first 2 moves will add a token when upgraded. That way you don't have to spend turns using Reflection to get rid of it, or using the Milk to get rid of the debuff or anything like that. So those are really good things to look at first. Now, speaking of the Leper and things, like maybe you don't have good combo generation or good combo use, you can also look at things that just make, obviously, the character better at what they're already good at. You got to be careful not to overlook things like this. So on the surface, Reflection, the upgrade doesn't look incredible. -2 stress instead of -1, but the big one is 20% resistance to debuffs. That actually can resist his own debuff from blinding. So if you upgrade Chop, you only have a 60% chance to get blinded when he uses Chop. And if you then do get blinded and use Reflection, he's much less likely to get blinded next time because of those resistances. So that's the main thing I would say. Try to feed off one another. And in a situation where you don't have combo generation, things to spin combos, or things to make them kind of better like this, the other thing I would say is try to upgrade moves, not only that you use most often, but that you can hit the same position with. So killing one enemy at a time is very good because it gets rid of an enemy action. So one more enemy that can obviously get you on death's door, hit a death blow or whatever. So if you have the Hellion, it might be worth upgrading Iron Swan, and then on your other characters, your other points, upgrade other things that can hit position 4. So try to get moves that, all right, I'm going to destroy position 4 first, or moves, I'm going to destroy position 2 first, and then go from there. That's the way I like to do it. Another note is heals in general are a good one. If you don't know what else to spend points in, always throwing in a heal is nice. Heals being percentage based in this game means that HP is very valuable. And obviously these heal upgrades are going to be incredible because of that. The difference in a 5% heal doesn't sound like much, but with a lot of the healing trinkets, or if you're using it on Leper or Man-at-Arms, it can be pretty massive. So that's my current strategy of using the second Ends mastery points. Get a combo generator, get something to spin combos, upgrade moves that will hit the same position so you can lower the enemy's numbers more quickly. Look for other ways to reduce stress and to recover before your next battle.